We are in beautiful Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and this is a really popular digital nomad hotspot. And so a lot of people have been wondering, how much does it really cost to live in Ho Chi Minh City? So let's go back to our apartment and really break down those numbers for you. Everyone talks about how cheap Vietnam is, but today we wanted to get into what the real numbers look like. We wanted to show you exactly what you could expect if you were a couple traveling like us doing semi-slow travel here in Vietnam.
So we tracked every dollar we spent in Ho Chi Minh City for a week, and we wanted to share it with you guys because after Japan and South Korea, I felt like we needed to calm down a little bit and check our expenses and see what we really do spend on a day-to-day basis.
Whenever you do those YouTube searches for digital nomading, slow travel, you always see a ton of people in Southeast Asia. So we were really excited to finally get here and see what some of those cost savings were like. Because like you mentioned, doing this in France is a lot more expensive than doing it here.
Yeah.
So we really wanted to see if it was as affordable as people say it is, or there was something that they weren't telling us. So he tracked everything and put it into a lovely spreadsheet. We have all of our notes here in case you see us looking at it. We didn't want to get anything wrong, but we're gonna go into everything, break down all the costs so you know exactly what you could expect.
I chose Ho Chi Minh City just because it's basically that starting point. Most people fly into Ho Chi Minh City. A lot of people compare it to New York City. And I saw that a lot of expats and digital nomads were here. So I wanted to give it a shot and let this be the first city we go to. And then we start from the south and then we work our way north in Vietnam.
So we have fairly similar travel styles, but as far as like overall city choices, I think he prefers the beach more than I do. And I love the city. Like I love New York City. So whenever he was telling me that, I was very excited to come here. It seemed like exactly what I would be looking for. And so far I've been pleasantly surprised. I've really enjoyed our time here.
Yeah, I picked the District 2 area, Thao Dien. So this is basically known for the expats and digital nomad area. You do pay those little bit of prices because of that. But the Airbnb that we're in is it feels like we're more in the local area of this place, but I mean, still say, you walk down the street past our gym and there's definitely a line of like bars, cafes and stuff like that. But no, I've really been pleasantly surprised with being in Ho Chi Minh City, especially the cost of getting around with the Grabs.
And even with the like tourist tax that we're paying on some things, it's like a difference of $1 or $2 for each item. So nothing insane, kind of one of those things that you just take it or leave it. You know you're paying a little bit more, but it's a nice thing, so you're okay with it. So in the first 6 months of our travel, we did a couple of stays for a month, but this will probably be the most consistent slow travel that we've done. So for us, that looks like a lot of work from home days or work from cafe days. We like to have a gym membership and go to the gym. Our current Airbnb doesn't have an oven and it only has one burner. So we're not cooking as much as we had in other Airbnbs. There's also exactly enough utensils for 2 people. So it's not like we can make a whole meal. There's like 1 plate, 1 bowl, 2 forks, 2 spoons. So we're not cooking as much. We're eating out a little bit more here. There is a lot more of a street food culture. And also it's a new place for us. So we are doing more exploring than we have in cities in the past. And you'll see that in our expenses. So we broke down, I feel so bad. He did all of this work getting together the numbers for this video. So take we with a grain of salt. But he tracked all of our expenses by day and also by category, just to get an idea for how the money is moving.
And I'll say this, the way I tracked it, the tools I use, I basically used my notes and made a table in there. And then also we use YNAB as our way to track. There is, travel spend and people use Excel. For me, we have so many transactions a day and it's like how to keep up with that. So a lot of me is just using the table, put it in there real quick, and then I will go to YNAB and make sure they match up and stuff. I'm still working on it. I'm still trying to find the best thing that works for us.
We're also obsessed with YNAB, and we do have a referral code in the description. I'll recommend that to anybody. But yeah, pretty much if I make a transaction, I'll just tell him, he'll add it to his notes, and he keeps very good track. So that's where these numbers are coming from. I'm sure the apps and stuff are fine, but sometimes there's just a delay, and it would make it harder in the back end. So doing it in the moment is sometimes saves you a lot more effort. So this is 8 days of spending. And what's in this table is basically our day-to-day spending, so not including our Airbnb and not including like our gym membership that we pay for once at the beginning of the month. So our highest day was 106, and that included a food tour, grocery runs, we got a little bit of medicine. That was more of an abnormal day for us. Our lowest day was 32. So overall, that's about a daily spend of $56 a day, which at first, to me, I thought that sounded kind of high coming from being at home and not going out and spending that much money every day. But when I multiply the average over the course of a month, that comes out to about $1,700. And if you think about that in comparison to living at home, that would be everything like gas and groceries and eating out and hanging out and doing activities. So $1,700 for 2 people for 30 days is pretty good, I think.
Yeah, it was definitely good. I was glad about the average. I'm also glad that we were able to find a food tour that that wasn't too expensive like some we see back in Europe, and we used to do them all the time.
Was there anything about this when you were doing the chart that like felt either too high or too cheap as far as like the daily spending, or was it what you imagined?
So the goal was always to try to be in Ho Chi Minh City to be $40 a day. There were some things that surprised me, some grocery stuff items that we got. Somebody had to get some expensive yogurt.
I did. I love my fat-free Greek yogurt, and that is not the local yogurt. So we are paying a premium for that for my breakfast.
And then I think I was very happy the way we did it. I think to where we are again, we are in Thai Dien, so we're not as close to the street markets as we would like to be. And so we did that food tour as a way to get us comfortable with going to the street food and vendors like that.
And it is baby steps. We had our first like true street food last night outside of the food tour.
Oh yeah, we did.
And it was phenomenal. So there's all these videos and TikToks on what to look for and how to pick your street food. And we can definitely share some of those, but getting more comfortable with street food will save you money. And not having local food is always cheaper than having Western food or just non-local food in general.
And you'll understand, if you watched us before or watched some of our past videos where I caught salmonella, you'll understand why I'm very cautious still before I just go straight into it and to just eating street food here.
Salmonella is no joke, guys. So here are the full category breakdowns, where the money went, how it was spent, and everything in between. And the first one, which might also be the biggest, is our Airbnb. So we are actually partnering with this Airbnb, and they gave us an amazing deal in exchange for some content. So for us, our Airbnb for 16 nights, it was $518. So that came out to about $35 a night. And I think that would maybe be closer to like $1,100 for the course of a month, which is not bad as far as Airbnb. Now, if you're staying here long term, you can get a pretty decent apartment for $500 or $600 a month. But if you are staying here shorter, then you can expect to pay kind of double that just because you're staying less than 30 days.
So yeah, the combination is always going to be your highest expense when you're doing what we're doing. And I'm just glad we're able to collaborate with this Airbnb and give them some content for a good discount, which definitely keeps our costs low and able to save that money, put it to other things, or be able to use it for other things we might want to do, more activities, more tours, more things that we can show you guys. So it was good. And, I do enjoy this Airbnb that we got here.
Yeah, I love being in the Thai Dien district, Thai Dien neighborhood. This is where all of the foreigners really are. This is where a lot of the activities I want to do. There's pickleball on like every 500 meters. It's kind of insane. So there are probably cheaper areas in Ho Chi Minh City, just like there's more expensive, but District 2 in Thai Dien is where we wanted to be. It's definitely where we recommend, and this is just the cost for this area.
So just to let you know, what I was doing, because I picked out combinations, the cost you see here for how long we save, you're going to see between about $500, especially if you're a single person traveling alone, and then about to $1,100 if you want more like a 2-bedroom or 2-bedroom, 2-bath, or just a bigger space, or being one of the high rises. So it's not, the 500 to 1100 is a big gap, but 1100 still is definitely a good affordable cost.
Definitely compared to a lot of Western countries.
So the next category is food, another high category compared to accommodation. And for these 8 days that we've been in Ho Chi Minh City, we spent $120 on food.
And this is specifically eating out food and not grocery food.
And I think that's pretty good. I mean, I think for other people it could be lower. Again, like I said, we haven't been straight of just go straight into the food market or the street food. So there's been times we'd be on Taldia and just choose a restaurant until it'll come to like $10 to $15 a person. So
Yeah, we had burgers and we had ramen. But like, for example, last night, the banh mi we had was $1 a piece. So imagine if we were eating the street food at $1 a piece for 3 meals a day. We could easily do this for, $6 per person for, a couple of days.
So yeah, and then where we are right now in our work schedule, we usually don't have dinner till late, and a lot of places around us close pretty normal times around like 10, and we're not ready to eat till later, so that does play a factor as well. But the grocery store has been nice as well, and that does play into how that cost is a little bit lower, but $120 for 8 days is pretty good, and I bet we're probably going to get lower once we get more accustomed to doing more street food.
Yeah, and as far as the cost per meal, outside of the Vietnamese food, we're probably spending on average like $7 or $8 per meal. And that is, some of the cheaper meals and some of the more expensive meals. It kind of averages out to $7 or $8, which is still high for the area, but reasonable for what we're eating.
And if you don't have a portion control issue, you'll be just fine. Because I see a nice, good price, and I might order more than what we should be spending.
Just a little bit. The next category was one that surprised me when he was telling me about the numbers in this breakdown, and that is our coffee budget. So in the past, our Airbnbs have had coffee machines, and that's fine, but we love coffee culture, okay? We want to get out there. Yeah. We want to have a cup with the locals. So in 8 days, we've spent $35 on coffee. Now, real quick, does that include like the pastries we get?
No, this does not include the pastries.
Oh man, I was really hoping that was going to help. Okay, not including the pastries. It's still $35 on coffee. And that is probably where a lot of that tourist tax comes in. Okay, we're getting oat milk. I don't drink cups of dairy. I don't do it. So we're going to places that have oat milk. Although here in Vietnam, coconut coffee is a thing, which is non-dairy, so that's perfect. But instead of paying like $1 or $2 per coffee, we may be paying like $3 or $4 per coffee per person. I limit myself to one a day. I don't know if you have that same rule.
No, I don't have that same rule.
So this, for a lot of people, they might even be able to cut out this entire category, have coffee at home, or just have like black coffee, or not be as restrictive on milk. But this was one that surprised me, was the $35 for coffee.
Yeah, this one surprised me. I like to point out, I didn't drink coffee till I met her, so, it's not all my fault. She has to place some blame in this one. And also, there was like 2 or 3 coffee places that were a little bit higher than usual. So that does play into it. We wouldn't go there all the time. So that plays a factor. So that's probably the reason why that's a little bit higher. And again, luckily we didn't put the pastries in there as well. So because we're usually getting coffee and a pastry. So, but yeah, $35. I like the coffee culture here in Asia. So we might need to start, budgeting for their coffee. Mm-hmm. Our next category is transportation, which is $22.68. And being here, we noticed that the Grab's costs are a lot affordable. So we usually just Grab everywhere or walk.
So what's a Grab?
Grab is basically Southeast Asia's form of Uber. So you can take a car, take a bike, motorbike, ride on motorbikes on the back of their bike. We're not there yet. That is not us.
I've never been a motorcycle person, and I can't say that we're never going to do it. No. It just hasn't been a thing we've done yet. That's probably been the biggest difference between here and some of the European countries is normally we're taking trains, buses, like public transportation everywhere. Here, we've not done it once. And for a comparison, a Grab car ride is $2 for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's based on distance, but I mean, a ride that'll take us 20 minutes costs $2. And if you were to get on the back of a bike, it probably would have been like 80 cents each. But however, the bikes are faster. They don't have to deal with traffic. So there is a trade-off. We're okay waiting. We're okay being patient inside of the back of a car in traffic because we're not paying for time. Unlike sometimes taxis the meter runs for time. It's like, it takes as long as it takes. And if it means I'm inside of a car, then we'll do it. So $22 for essentially just rides has been not bad at all. All right, the next category is groceries. Now our eating out category was about $120. Grocery category so far has been $92. Who says how much of that is yogurt? Maybe we'll never know. But the grocery category has been about $92. A lot of this will depend on what grocery store you're shopping at and what you're getting. There are plenty of affordable things. We have a pretty big supermarket near us, but there was one day, for example, I got a like prepackaged dinner meal with, I think it was like a pork sausage and noodles and veggies, and it was 63 cents for the whole dinner. So there are cheaper options. We're just not always buying them.
Yeah, in those, we did some dinners where we bought meat and stuff like that. And then we did separate it, which I probably will in the future, is we bought towels, paper towels, and other toiletry items. So there's a mixture of some things that it could be separated, and that grocery cost could be a little bit if it's just food.
Yeah, different soaps. We have towels in the Airbnb, but we like to have more kitchen towels and then separate, face towels, things like that we bought. Some Tupperware containers to store food. Those were all wrapped into the groceries. So yeah, it could be separated in the future, but in the end, $92.
And I just have a weakness when a grocery store is near us. I'm just there every day.
Literally every day. Literally every day. I don't even go every day. He just comes back and he has a bag full of stuff. I'm like, I hope you're enjoying yourself.
So next category is activities. And these 8 days, we've done quite a few activities. We've done a food tour. We've been to the museum. We've done the hop on, hop off bus. She's done pickleball.
Multiple times.
And we've gotten both full body Swedish massages.
They beat me to pieces, guys. This isn't even part of the video. I'm just saying I have bruises from that massage. But anyway, I just want to tell somebody about it. Carry on.
For all that, it came out to $120, with the food tour probably being most of the cost on that one. But yeah, I think we like to do activities, and we added the massages as part of our activity budget. So
even the massages were cheap though.
Yeah, the massages we got done on a discount day. It was $13 each.
$13 each. Full body massage, an hour. So this is another one that might vary per person, per couple. I guess we're looking at it in the sense of we're traveling the world and seeing all these cities. We don't just want to go to the cities and, spend all of our time working and not see anything. We still like to do some of those more tourist activities. Plus, we have a YouTube channel, and we want to share these things on our YouTube and on our Instagram. So it's important for us to also do the touristy things as well as the local things. And as far as the pickleball, I didn't find any pickleball in Europe. They have pickleball on every corner. So I'm trying to get as much pickleball in as I can. They love it, I love it. And each pickleball, social play, is about $7, $10 when I rent a paddle. So it's not crazy expensive, and it's an excellent workout. Pickleball, please sponsor me.
And yeah, we just like to go on food tour. So food tour is probably our biggest thing, that every time we go to somewhere new, we're going to try to put it in our budget to do a food tour.
So these next categories are, I don't want to call them necessities because they're still optional, but for us, these are our necessities. So the first one is our gym membership. So we broke it down. We paid for a month, but because they knew we were only going to be here for 3 weeks, I think they gave us a discount since we weren't going to use it the last week. So we're paying $53 per person for the month, but for 8 days, that comes out to $28 for the two of us. So $14 per person. And we are at California Fitness and Yoga. It is a very commercial style gym. I'm very impressed with it. They have classes that I've been doing. They have a whole section for high rocks, cardio, weight, locker rooms, the work. So I think it's a pretty good deal, $54 for a gym like this. And we've definitely been making use of it. For us, one of the big goals that we had while traveling is to be more conscious about our health and our fitness. So for us, this was a necessity.
Our next one is our self-service. We are with Holafly, and it's about $60 each per month. So one of our higher expenses that we have.
That would come out to about $4 a day or $2 per person. And also with Olafly, we are using their unlimited monthly subscription. So not just the eSIMs that you buy for each location, but just the renewing subscription. So it'll always be $60, unlimited data, hotspot, the works. Although it's not on here, but we did add in a local eSIM so that I can use our gym's app. In order to use the app, you have to get a text with their number. So I was able to get a local eSIM with a Vietnamese phone number for $4 for 20 days. That's not in here, but it was something that we were trying out this month. It worked. I'm into the app. The next expense is Safety Wing. So we're paying $125 for both of us. If you don't know what Safety Wing is, Safety Wing is a travelers and health insurance for nomads. So it's specifically made for people whose lifestyle is similar to ours, who move around. And it basically will cover any of our emergent health expenses, as well as any travel delay trip insurance expenses. So for the 8 days, that would have been $33, but it is $125. And it does change based on your age. But we do have a discount and a referral code down in the description as well, if you want to check that out.
And just the last category, I had to put it miscellaneous. And that was just we had to grab some medicine for us to get some more probiotics.
Yes, there are some, basically if you take these probiotics, it'll help get your stomach used to eating the the food. And day one, I thought I didn't need it. And night one, I said, oh no, we're gonna get them tonight. We're gonna have them sent at 1 a.m.
So it was only $15 because the cost of the probiotics was a little high. Getting it delivered wasn't that much.
And the category I'm most proud of, shopping, $0. $0 on shopping. There's a few reasons for this. One, literally no room in the luggage. Don't know where I would put anything. And two, we haven't been to any markets to buy anything yet. The only thing right now I would buy is film, and I already have it, but I can't say this category will stay 0, but it will probably be one of our lower categories just because there's only so much stuff we can carry with us from place to place.
Yeah, it's 0 right now, but there's some things I need, so it may go up. And so we added 2 other categories that are not included in our weekly cost that we thought you guys just might want to know. So the first one is our flights. Our flight because we came from Seoul, South Korea, we flew into Ho Chi Minh City, was $350. And we flew Korean Air. That was what, a 5-hour flight?
Yeah.
And then our next cost was our visas. And I personally made a mistake on our visas with Vietnam, and just wanted to let you guys know so you don't make the same mistake I did. So basically what I did was, the first mistake, I got single entry when I should have got multiple entry, so that we had more flexibility. If, let's say, we wanted to go to Cambodia or Laos or just somewhere else and then come back to Vietnam, it would have been a lot easier visa-wise. But I mistakenly got single entry. And the crazy thing about it, I did it twice. I did that mistake twice because I had to get a second visa. I messed up on our first visa by doing it only from a certain date for like 3 weeks. I thought we were only going to be here for about 3 to 4 weeks. Turns out we were going to be here longer. And so we didn't need to overstay that visa. So I needed to push it out basically you do it to 60 or 90 days. 90 days is what you're allowed. Most people push it out to 90 days. I pushed ours out to 75 days. So I know we are going to be leaving. So basically when you do your visa, push it out farther.
Do the 90 days. I didn't even know we did 75. Do the 90 days, do multiple entry visa.
I'll just do what's comfortable for you.
Well, I should say, in all the videos that we watch, they recommend do the 90 days and then do the multiple entry. If you don't want to, you may be risking it and have to pay more money, but I would recommend 90 days at multiple entry, and he would recommend what's most comfortable for you. All right, we went through all of the categories. Now it is time for the grand total. So our living cost for the last 8 days comes out to $811.42. So that is a daily average for 2 people of $101. And if you want to know what that is for an entire month, we basically multiplied it by 30 and it comes out to around $3,000 for a month. So if a lot of our viewers are from America, you probably know what an average living expense is in different American cities. There's not a lot of places where you can comfortably live as 2 people on $3,000 a month, including your accommodations, including your transportation, including your food, including your insurance, including everything. So I would consider that, or I would say that when everyone talks about how affordable Southeast Asia is, they are telling the truth.
Yeah, and we'll do this in probably future videos, but comparing that to Seoul and Japan, those numbers are really kind of close together. And those were shorter days. Those were shorter stays that we were there.
We were in Japan for about 2 weeks, but we were in 3 different cities versus being in one city here for about 3 weeks. But whenever we'll average them all out over a month so we can have like a month-to-month comparison. Yeah. But yeah, Seoul and Japan were definitely higher. It's definitely more affordable than I expected. I think when we were talking about it before, I was under the impression that you thought it was going to be more expensive. So I think I was mentally preparing myself that even though people are doing it really affordably, and because of who we are, we're just not going to be able to pull it off like they are. But we did this without a whole lot of budgeting effort. We weren't really cutting out a bunch of things. We're not restricting ourselves, and we've been able to keep it at what I think is a pretty good budget for 2 people pretty easily. So I'm pretty proud of it. I love Ho Chi Minh City. I could definitely stay here longer. There's so much more of the world I want to see, but I would definitely come back here. I have very few downsides to Ho Chi Minh City, and I'm really impressed with how we did it. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I would do differently. Since we had a deal on the Airbnb, I think that helped. I can't even say I would get on a bike. I can't say that yet. So I'm happy with how we've done everything, budget-wise.
I think I feel the same about you. I do enjoy this city. Only thing I probably do differently, let's do more street food, which I think we're going to do next week to keep our next week costs down low. I do really like this Airbnb. I'm glad we partnered with them. And yeah, I mean, I think I want to continue to just budget and see how our expenses go. I think that's the safe way to do. It's smart thing to do.
Also, the Airbnb will be linked below. And then if you watch our 48 hours in Ho Chi Minh City, or our first time living in Ho Chi Minh City, you'll be able to see the Airbnb, the area, and everything. So head over to that video if you want to like see the stuff that we're talking about, but that'll have all the information. I don't know, maybe I can ask you this question for real. So our budget came out to about $3,000 for the month. Is there any specific type of traveler that you think would be able to spend like significantly less or would have to spend significantly more in the same city?
I would say both the solo traveler and the couple travelers could probably spend significantly less than we do. I think we still do a lot more things than most of them would do. Like we got a nicer gym when there's a gym here as well. We did some tours. We might have eaten places that are a little bit more expensive. So I think both can do it. Solo traveler definitely could do it. And I've seen watching other people's videos that couples could do it. But I'm very comfortable with where we're at. And this is something we get to do what we both want to do. And I like the budget that we have going forward. Now, if you want to go up a little bit more, I mean...
He says that, but if I ask to go to a steakhouse, all of a sudden I'm wrong. So, I mean, it gives us some room for some more extravagant experiences, should we want them. So now I also want to know what you guys think. If you're watching this and you've been to Ho Chi Minh City, please put in the comments your experience and if this is similar to what your experience was, if this is totally different. I know that people watching our videos are probably in the research phase of trying to figure out if this could work for them or if it's something that they should be looking into. So as much information as we can get to these people, the better. And also put down in the comments if any of these categories surprised you and if you think that this budget could work for you, or if you think that we're a little insane.
And one of our next spots, we may be staying there for a month. And if you want to know what our monthly budget is and our monthly breakdown, just let us know. We'll do that for you.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you're a part of our postcard club, I'm gonna be writing those postcards, sending them out this week. So very excited. Make sure you check your mail for those. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss these videos, okay? You're trying to gather as much content as you can. So you want to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell icon so you'll be notified every time we upload. And if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. All right, that is it for this one, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.